Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this regular public meeting of the Dieppe City Council. We will begin with a word of welcome. Dear colleagues, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Call this meeting to order. Confirmation of quorum by the clerk. We have quorum, so we can begin. Are there any conflicts of interest? None by councillors. So we will adopt the agenda for today. Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Brideau, to adopt the agenda as presented. For the question, none? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Adopted as presented. Next, we go to presentations, inquiries, and petitions. We will begin by inquiries by council members for Kodiak Regional RCMP. Are there any questions? Mr. Godet. Thank you, Your Worship. I have a question respecting an update of for cannabis being a legal product. I know in November you mentioned that there is very little illegal activity since the legalization. Is the tendency the same, or has there been an increase with respect to legal problems? With respect to motorists? Would illegal production of cannabis? I haven't checked the statistics, but I don't know of any increase of any figures. I don't think it's very high. Is the tendency the same? That hasn't changed? No. Not really. I know of a couple incidents, but I would have to check the files. So there's been no additional costs with respect to the control of cannabis. Additional costs? I would have to check, like your previous question, before I could answer the way I would wish. Do you understand? So could we have an idea the next time where we're at? Because we were all in the bit in the beginning concerned by these changes. And it would be good to say to the population that we've been checking on it. Yes, I can look at the information and answer your question. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Godet. Mr. Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. I don't have a question, but lastly, I received an email from a man recently arrived in Dieppe and is complaining that on Dieppe Boulevard, people had a tendency to ignore the stop signs. So that was dangerous. He said he had to brake on the ice, and it was dangerous. So perhaps we could control that and put stop signs or control traffic at the stop signs on Dieppe Boulevard. Did he file a complaint? I don't know. He sent us an email. Can you send me a copy of the email? Yes. What is your address? We'll send it through the office. Thank you. No other questions? Do you have any questions for this evening? Not really. For February, I wanted to add that we are making efforts to control the traffic in the region. We're checking vehicle inspections, registrations of the drivers. Thank you. If no other questions, we shall continue. Of course, as always, you may stay with us, but we'll understand if you must leave. Item number 8, questions by members of the public. Are there any questions? None? Therefore, we shall continue with item 9, adoption of minutes of the regular council meeting held on January 28th, moved by Councillor Godet, seconded by Councillor Alain. On the question, any questions relating to these minutes? None. For the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. The adoption of minutes is carried. Accepted as presented. Item 10, motions, memorandums, and nominations. 10.1, culture, leisure, and community life. 10.1.1, request for financial assistance from United Way. Mr. Lasson, the first file following an initiative of United Way campaign, they sent a request to the 3 cities, and we have, your worship has accepted this challenge. It's more than what we had authorized in January. This was not committed funds, so they asked us for a contribution of $500 to United Way for their annual fundraising. The event already took place, so we have to respect our engagement. Now for the reading of the resolution. Councillor Blanc. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council authorized that a donation in the amount of $500 be given to United Way, and further authorized that this expenditure be defrayed from account number 12-2028-2310 General Operating Budget, funding to organizations and grants. Your request. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Arsenault. On the question. No questions. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. I thank you, because if you hadn't authorized this, I would have had to pay $500 for my participation in mean tweets, and that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed myself. And I know that we might cross Canada with this. I don't know how long this idea is going to last. So the next item, engineering 10.2.1. Mr. Melanson, here we have pedestrian crossings and traffic lights proposed at 2019 for engineering services, and to accept services from EXP Services Incorporated. They're both on Champlain Street. The first, Lakeburn, near Moncton Flight College, and the other one downtown near Acadie and du Marché. And traffic lights be put at the corner of Amiro and Melanson. So this is at a cost of $60,000 plus HST, and we we had these funds in reserve. So this is for engineering services. For the reading of the resolution, Councillor Brideau. Thank you, Your Worship. The Council authorized EXP Services Inc. to undertake engineering services for the traffic lights, Amiro, Melançon, and pedestrian crossing, Champlain Street, project at the cost of $60,000 plus HST, and further authorize this expenditure be defrayed from account number 3335587638, General Capital Budget, Traffic Lights, Amiro Melançon, and Pedestrian Crossings, Champlain Street. The Council authorized a budget transfer in the amount of $60,000 from account number 7420128920, General Capital Reserve Fund, to account number 3335587638, General Capital Budget, Traffic Lights, Amiro Melançon, and Pedestrian Crossings, Champlain Street. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Brito, seconded by Councillor Arsenault. For the question, Councillor Godet. Thank you, Your Worship. I just have a comment. I'm happy to see that the lights will be installed on Amiro and Melançon. I had indicated last fall that we had received requests from citizens because there are problems turning left between 4 and 6 p.m. And I think these lights will facilitate people that are leaving early in the morning to get to downtown, because there'll be spacing in the traffic so that people can come out of the streets on Amiro. So thank you a lot for having done this study. Thank you. Councillor Leblanc. Thank you, Your Worship. With my vote tonight, I'm a bit lost. We have 3 authorities within one for the pedestrian crossing and other traffic lights, and I don't see the necessity of having one near City Hall. We have one on Acadie and Bail du Marché. And Adelar, I don't think it's really necessary there between the other two. I know we had a presentation to improve downtown, but I'm wondering, is it really necessary to do that right away? I asked the question last Thursday when I met with my team. Here we want the request for plans, but we're not even going into construction yet, so we can choose the right moment to start construction for the pedestrian crossing, and then we can go ahead more rapidly after that. We'll have an RFP, and then we'll indicate exactly what we need. Oh, that's easier. It answers my questions. Amiro Melançon is a necessity, and Flight College as well. But third, I wasn't really in agreement. But yes, if we do the plans now and at the right time, we can have them installed. Well, we'll accept the filing of the report a little while later, but you have to ask yourself the question, the restaurants and all the elements that we want in downtown, if we have a pedestrian crossing there, we'll be able to get all this later. What do we want first? Do we want the market, pedestrians in downtown, or do we prefer cars right now? So there are people on both sides of the fence. So we'll have to see what we want to encourage at one point. Thank you for your explanation. Thank you, Mr. Leblanc. Councillor Thibodeau, I had the same question as Mr. Leblanc, but I have another comment. I believe that a pedestrian crossing could be a bit dangerous because of the proximity of the two traffic lights. And the other point Mr. Melanson explained, and we want to encourage people to walk a little bit more as well. I think the two of them together might not be ideal. That's all, Your Worship. Thank you, Madame Councillor Leboutier. Thank you, Your Worship. I know we discussed this summer, but I didn't see the details. But at the Moncton Flight College, how many people are affected there? Recently, we have 2 lanes. There's 4 going down to 2 lanes, and we were talking about the importance of 4 lanes on Boulevard Dieppe, because by Engelhard, it's really hard to cross the street. And I would like to have more details on Moncton College, please. Moncton Flight College. Thank you, Your Worship. For this pedestrian crossing, we made the analysis. And this crossing would be for students who walk there from their apartments, and they have to cross the street there. So that crossing is justified. On Engelhard, we asked for an analysis by consultants. If we go ahead, we had the distances for security to give people time to brake. So we're looking to see if it's justified at that street. And we were discussing with Kodiak Transpo to see if there's an alternative for the buses, where the bus routes are, that would allow people to cross too. So we're looking at 2 or 3 other options, so we're analyzing all these elements. Thank you for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, Ray. Resolution is adopted as presented. Now we're at 10.3.1. Organizational performance. So we have a bus route 93A. We had a pilot project to evaluate the clientele, the riders. So we want to have an extension to better analyze the impacts and successes. So we're asking tonight for an extension of this project pilot for 13 weeks until June 12th. Thank you. For the reading of the resolution, Councillor Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. The Council authorized an extension to the 93A bus route pilot project for an additional 13 weeks, ending July 12, 2019. I so move. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Arsenault. On the question, Councillor Leblanc. Thank you, Your Worship. Could we remind people in the Lakeburn area what are the hours of this project? We spoke of it generally. 93A is offered. The first one, it has a departure 7:15 a.m. Second departure 8 o'clock, and third 8:45, so it's 45 minutes. The same for the afternoon, 4:15 p.m., 5 p.m., and 5:45. So during rush hours, 6 departures from Champlain Center. Thank you. No other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. The resolution 10.3.1 is accepted as presented. 10.4.1. In October 2015, we had a resolution to give a contract for Canadian Radio Communication Information So we want to annul this resolution and replace it with a policy developed by the city for the replacement of antennas. We had a satisfaction level that was very low, and then we want to ensure a better working conditions. So we want to authorize the city to manage these antennas and to respect the standards to install them. So it's for your consideration tonight. Thank you for the reading of the resolution. Councillor Arsenault. Thank you, Your Worship. The Council repealed the resolution adopted October 13, 2015, entitled Membership, Canadian Radio Communications Information and Notification Service, CRINS, and adopt the following. The Council adopt the policy Z2 2019 entitled City of Dieppe Antenna System Siting Policy. I so move. Moved by Councillor Arsenault, seconded by Councillor Allain. For the question. No questions. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Adopted as presented. Item 10.4.2, adoption, Dieppe Downtown Design Guidelines. In the fall, at one of our meetings in 2018, we had a presentation from consultants of the Dieppe Downtown Design Guidelines with pedestrian crossings. So tonight, we're asking you to accept the filing of this document with the recommendations respecting development of our downtown. So this is for approval and to give us the authority to refer to it later. For the reading of the resolution, Councillor Allain. Thank you, Your Worship. The Council accept the document entitled Dieppe Downtown Design Guidelines prepared by l'Atelier Urbain. I so move. Moved by Councillor Allain, seconded by Councillor Godette. On the question. Councillor Godette, thank you, Your Worship. This document, does it have a legal status? When we call it a guide, it's a plan. It's not a law, it's not a bylaw, it's a guide, so we're going in a certain direction and we can modify it and councillors can adjust it. Things are always moving. Thank you. It's based on what we see today and what we plan for the future, but it's always subject to change and readjustment. Our downtown is not what it was 15 years ago and will not be in 15 years what it is today. There's a difference between that and the zoning plan of the city, of course, yes. Thank you, Councillor Godette. Other questions? All those in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Adopted as presented. Item 11, municipal bylaws. No bylaws tonight. No notice. Are there any notices of motion tonight? None. Therefore, we will proceed to inquiries announced by members of council. I shall begin at my right this week. Thank you, Your Worship. I have a point concerning the fire hydrants in the city. I received pictures from citizens who noticed that some of them are completely covered and you can only see the pole that indicates there's a fire hydrant there. And the person was saying that it was so covered up with frozen snow that it would take more than one person with a shovel to remove the snow. Is there someone who's checking on them, going around the city to see if there's such things? Because right now there's not much of a problem because the snow is melting. But after a storm, is there somebody responsible to make sure that those fire hydrants are uncovered? We have a procedure respecting snow removal, but it depends on the weather when we can remove the snow. It's part of our process. I would like to see the pictures and where they are to see if they've not been uncovered yet. Yes, we have procedures for snow removal and sidewalks. We're trying to encourage citizens that are living beside them to take care of them, but sometimes it's not possible. Can the citizen call the city, contact someone, and tell them about the situation? We invite 877 to call 87779. Electricity problems? I was happy to see that the back of the hall was lit still. 877-7900. Anybody can call. Thank you. Councillor Leblanc. Thank you, Your Worship. I had a request to see if it would be possible the turning on Champlain Street in easterly direction when you turn left to go into Mathieu Martin, and there's a light to turn. It doesn't last very long. Only 2 cars can pass. Perhaps we could make it longer for the left turning green arrow during rush hours. I would have complained about the opposite, that it was too long. What time during the day? I know in the morning when the buses and cars go into Mathieu Martin. Not many cars can get in, but the rest of the day it's okay. It's been mentioned to me. We'll check on that. Thank you. Councillor Brideau. Thank you, Your Worship. I have nothing to add, but I would like to ask the 2 gentlemen in the rear who are using the special system for the hard of hearing. It's not working well. Sean will give us later, but I'm asking for your. I'm excusing myself because it's not working. Yes, we'll check them later to see why they're not working, and we're as upset about it as you. Councillor Leboutillier. Have we made a study on the costs for Alain Gillette Street to have a bicycle right there so we don't have to go way down the marsh, that we could connect a little bike trail in the medium long term? We have a connection proposed, the future extension of Paul Street, so we're planning on adding a bicycle trail. But here we have a marsh, so we would have to construct a type of bridge. It would cost a lot of money. So in the 5 or 10 next years, we're considering that. Now we have to do detours around the marsh. it would cost a few $100,000 for this type of bridge or overpass. Is that it? I would like to wish good luck to all athletes that are going to Canada Games. Thursday, we have 23 athletes who are participating. 24. Pardon, yes, 24. Thank you, it's all. Councillor Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. I had a situation, another email that I received from Isabelle Savoie concerning at the cul-de-sac on Bouchard Street. Our CMP did its work, it's improved, but our CMP can't be there all the time. She made a suggestion, perhaps we could cut off the cul-de-sac. Can the developer can do that? If not, perhaps we could close it up. If they want to continue development right away. I don't know, could we do that? I'll speak to the developer. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Thibodeau. Councillor Arsenault. I just wanted to thank the public who are here this evening to hear for equality for all who are sitting here in the hall. And next Monday is Family Day. And here in Dieppe, we have an oval where we can skate. It's a lot of fun for families. And Aquatic Center will have specials for families as well. And the Rotary Park, there's going to be a horse and carriage. So we encourage all our families to go out on that day as well. Keep your heart warm even though it's very cold, because this is Valentine's Day this week, so I wish you all a happy Valentine's Day. Thank you, Councillor Alain. Thank you, Your Worship. I wanted to repeat what Councillor Leboutier says. We're lucky to have athletes that going to Canada Games. It takes strong parents who are working with our elite athletes, and we have 24 who are leaving from Dieppe on 200. So 12% of the New-Brunswick team comes from our town, and we're only 3% of the province. So we have Max Doucette, who wants to be part of this team, and I'm going to name these individuals that are going to Red Deer in Alberta up until March 3rd. Leon Martin, downhill skiing, badminton, Karine Boucher, Amy Head. Skating, Catherine Barry, hockey masculin, Alex Cormier, Alexis Daniel, Jonathan Desrosiers. Female hockey, Emma Bishop, Catriona Cormier, Catherine Foulem, Stéphanie Légère. Judo, Samuel McGrath. Skating, Leah Cartier. Squash, Noah Boucher, Sébastien Leblanc, Eric Melançon. And ringuette, we have 8 participants: Monique Lecollette, Thalie Degrasse, Amélie Duguay, Alexandre Dupuis, Annick Niles, Mélodie Saunier, Jessica Savoie, and Megan Williston. And I want to congratulate them for their tenacity, and I hope they'll bring back some medals in the few weeks. And Your Worship, the second thing is the downtown plan. Today we have a guide. It's about time. It's been for 20 years now that we've been trying to save our downtown, and this is an important tool for our investors and our developers. We have a vision, and this council takes it seriously. We want to ensure that people that will come here and choose Dieppe for business reasons, and I'm very happy to see this guide. Thank you, Ms. Councillor Alain. When I hear the number 8 of our youth in Ringen, it's a testimony of the strength and the work of the presidents, the former presidents of Ringen, of Dieppe, all the work they've made. So, congratulations, Councillor Alain in Le Boutillier for Ringen and Dieppe, and regional and provincial reasons as well. So, good night to all of you, and try to stay warm.